My name is Zakia, and I'm coming to you from my apartment in Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Friday, March 2nd, 2018. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as at Ladywing Designs, and feel free to send me a direct message there if you need to get in contact with me. But you can also email me at ladywingdesigns@gmail.com. We have a Ravelry group for this podcast, which you can find by searching Ladywing Crafts Podcast in the groups tab. There you'll find any knit-alongs, giveaways, and a thread for every episode for the show notes. Yeah, same other threads as always, the introductory thread, etc. Yeah, links to the Ravelry group, and basically a copy of the show notes will be in the down bar below. Yeah, I think that's it. So how have you guys been? Excuse me. It's been surprisingly a very quick week. Yeah, I can't believe it's Friday again already. Like, I'm super excited about that, don't get me wrong, but like, oh my gosh, it's Friday again already. And it's March, guys. Like, I don't know when that happened. Yeah, I don't. Where did February go? I was like just getting used to February, and now it's March. So, yeah. It's been a good week though. A couple days I wasn't feeling too well, which wasn't fun, but it seemed to kind of pass and move on, so oh well. But yeah, and crafting wise, it's been amazing. It's March now, which means that there was a rush at the end of February to turn in classes for the House Cup. So, yeah, lots of crafting happened the last 4 days of the month. That's all I'm gonna say, and you'll be able to see that. Well, you'll kind of be able to see it. You'll kind of be able to see it. I'm not sure. I can't really remember what all I worked on in the last 4 days. Yes, I do. I take that back. Yes, I do. Anyway, so let's get into some admin. For any returning viewers, thank you for coming back. I hope that you continue to enjoy. And to any new viewers, I hope that you find something you like. Yeah, and if you do, like and subscribe below, which I never say, so that feels, I don't know, normal, but also very weird to say that. Okay, I think that's it. So let's get into some admin. So first of all, spring garment knit along. Remember that is still happening. Remember to keep putting the hashtag on your Instagram post. The hashtag is spring garment cowl, and I'll put it across the screen here. Yeah. I don't always check it like every day or anything, the hashtag, but I'm technically following it, and I do pop over there every once in a while to see if there's anything new, so remember to do that. Oh, so the one thing that I did want to talk about with this, and of course I told myself to have this pulled up and ready, and it's not, so I'll have to find it, but so a couple episodes ago, I posted the FO thread for the spring garment cowl. It is in the group. So if you have finished an object or you're close to finishing, just remember to pop your picture over there in the FO thread. And I'm just going to take a second. I did copy the rules over, like I put or not really copied it over, but I did put a list of all of the rules in the header on the FO thread so that you guys will kind of have that there. So, like I said before, I'm not going to lock the FO thread until, I should have said this at the beginning when I started talking about this. The spring garment cowl is a cowl that I'm hosting, and until April the 30th. That's what I wanted to say. So technically, kind of the date that I'm using to tell people is April the 30th for when it will be done. But I won't close the FO thread until right before I podcast, whenever that is after. So April the 30th is a Monday, so I might podcast that Friday after, in which case I'll lock it right before then and draw prizes. Or like if I don't podcast that week and I wait until the next week, then I'll lock it then. So that is giving you guys 4, potentially 11 extra days to get those projects done, and pictures taken of them and posting them in the thread. So yeah, so that'll happen. So just be on the lookout for that, and I'll probably post something on Instagram about it, reminding you guys to get your FO pictures in there. But okay, so anyway, so I put all the rules in the thread, and I just wanted to kind of go over this. So remember that it's garments only. Whips could not have been farther than 50% when the cowl started, so on January 14th. But from what I can tell, it looks like most people are starting new garments, so that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so, those will count. So projects must have the ends woven in or hidden, because I'm that person. I totally get it. I don't always weave in the ends right after. So most of the time, especially like my socks, I wear those ends around. And actually, my birthday sweater still has some ends not woven in on the shoulders. So it's totally fine. You don't have to weave them in, but hide them. And you do not have to, the picture that you post does not have to be of you wearing the item. So if you just like have it on a mannequin or on a hanger, or you just like laid it down on a bed and took a picture of it, that's totally fine. You don't necessarily have to be wearing it if you don't want to. But yeah, so have the ends woven in or hidden, and your object does not have to be blocked. Now, I've just generally put that up there because, again, I'm the type of person that when I, like my birthday sweater, it still technically has not been blocked. So I totally get that if you don't want to block it right away or whatever. Yeah, now if it's something that like maybe has some lace and you like really need to block it, maybe just block out that lace part. But I'm not going to be super harsh about that. There was something that I wanted to say about that, and now I can't remember. Oh, and remember, that's what I was going to say. Like, even if your object is not blocked or whatever, remember to post it in the chatter thread too, because I will be drawing a prize from that. That's what I wanted to say. So remember to post an FO in the FO thread if you have it, but chat and be a cheerleader or whatever in the chatter thread. Any yarn weight or craft, meaning crochet, knitting, sewing, weaving, etc., is allowed, and yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. And then finally, you must be a member of the group to win prizes. And I am going to start enforcing this when I draw prizes for this knit along. So if you are not a member of the group, but you're posting, you'll know because on your little picture on the side, under it, it will have a little yellow star and it will say guest, which means that you're a guest in the group because you're not a member of it. So all you have to do to fix that is go back to the group homepage and click join group. So yeah, just make sure you do that so that you are eligible to win prizes. That just made me think I should have checked my mailbox before I did this, but oh well. Another podcast, right? Plus it's only March, so I still can't believe that we have 2 months left for this knit along either. I didn't think this would be a ridiculously slow time, which it's not because it's already March, but I don't know, it just seems weird that we still have to wait until April 30th. But anyway, so those are the rules, and I do put just a reminder there and a link to the chatter thread to remind you to post there as well. So, yeah, so that's all that I wanted to say about that. So since we're on the topic of knit-alongs, I will, sorry, now I'm prepping my phone for something else that I want to talk about. So now I'll talk about the other knit-alongs. So there's the Make from Stash Along, which is being hosted by Tiny Human Knits, and the Kid Along, which is being hosted by Squirrel Pie Productions. And congratulations, Tommy, on carrying. I don't know what's on being pregnant. Like that just sounds weird. Like I don't know. On conception. I don't know. Anyway, is that even the right word? Okay, let's just not even go there. Congratulations, Tommy. That's what I wanted to say. So she's having a kid along, just make things for kids or babies, toddlers, whatever. And then the last one that I wanted to mention is the Knit in the Family Cowl, which is being hosted by Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters, and just a big shout out to those girls. I really appreciated that mention. In their last episode, I can't remember what number it is, but it's 40 something, or maybe it's 40. But yeah, they gave me a shout out, and then apparently I inspired a knit along, so which I definitely will be participating in. But yeah, so check those out. Oh, okay, that was not all I wanted to say about that. So yeah, so thank you, ladies, for mentioning me. So I hope that this doesn't sound like bad or really weird or anything, but after that happened, I started getting, sorry, I'm playing with my hair today, guys. But after that started happening, or after they mentioned me, focus, Zakia, focus. They mentioned me, and then all that day I was getting on Instagram, and I mean, even now it's still kind of happening. Like I'm getting new followers, and I just remember I was telling my parents because I was so psyched about it, and I was telling my parents, and I was just like, this feels weird. Like people are actually like following me, you know? Like I got mentioned on one of my favorite podcasts, and now people are like, or more people are like really noticing me. Like it's just weird to me. Like I've had some posts this week that I've put up with like 0 hashtags, and the amount of people that are liking them is insane to me. Because there are just more people that are following me and looking at my posts now, and wow, that's just like insane. I kind of feel like I've made it now. In the podcast world, I kind of feel like this is really happening. Like, no, people actually know who you are and they watch you, and I don't know, it's insane. But yeah, so yeah, so a huge welcome to anyone that's coming over from watching those ladies. We are very excited to have you here. So yeah. So remember, all of those knit-alongs that I just mentioned are, well, they will be linked. I haven't done it yet, but they will be linked in the other make-alongs thread. Remember, if you guys find any that I haven't put on that list, feel free to comment in that thread and let me know what they are and who's hosting them. If you want to provide a link to like the chatter thread, that's fine, but if you can just tell me what the knit along is called and who's hosting it, I'll go find it and I'll link it. Yeah, I already deleted all of the ones that ended at the end of February. Oh, I've already linked it, so I won't write it down, but I did go ahead and change the link for the Grocery Girl Sock Bash this month. So the March Sock Bash is already up, and it has been linked. And I think the theme is cables this month, like the extra theme. So, okay, so enough about that. Um, what do I want to do next? So, let's talk about, well, let's do this. I don't want to do that yet. So, I put on Instagram, it's the one with the picture of my Cozy Memories blanket. I can never tell if people just like are scrolling and like it, or if they actually like look through the pictures. I don't know. So, the photo that I put up, the front pictures of my Cozy Memories blanket on my bed, which I will not be showing today. But if you scrolled to the second picture, it was of my profile for Periscope. And in that caption, I talked about wanting to start kind of like a craft and chat. Kind of like if any of y'all watch Sue of Legacy Knits podcast. Um, how she does like her little knitting Periscope every morning. And I thought that it would be cool to kind of do that, but only do it like one night a week and kind of like a late night thing. So my mom, she watches. You guys are gonna get a lot of backstory right now, and sorry in advance. This is a very long episode. It's been 2 weeks and I'm out of practice, and a lot of things have happened. So yeah. But anyway, so my mom, I don't know how long ago, started watching The Reset Girl, who is a very crafty person. She does like a lot of planning and scrapbooking and that type of thing, which is what my mom does. And so she has what she calls the Late Night Crafty Club. And it's on a Friday night around 8 or 9 p.m. Central. And which the times vary because her and her husband have been traveling. But, you know, it's kind of later night. I think when it started, it was at like 10 p.m. And you have a glass of wine and you're crafting and you just sit and chat and listen to her talk about whatever she has to talk about that night. And so I thought that it would kind of be cool to do that, kind of like a once a week thing, but on Saturdays because that's a lot easier for me, and around 9 p.m. Central, so that people on Eastern time aren't staying up forever, which is also why I did it on a Saturday, so that hopefully more people will have time to kind of stay up. But anyway, so I am hoping to start that this Saturday if anyone is interested. And if no one's interested, that's perfectly fine. Like, that won't offend me. It's just one less thing that, you know, kind of have to remember every week. But I would like to do it. I feel like it would give us more of a time to kind of chat without having to do like a YouTube live. Yeah, so go read that post if you want to, but basically the logistics of it, it would be Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Central, um, and I would totally always post like that morning or that afternoon, and probably again right before it started to remind anyone. So what I will do, um, so I've already created it. I made a group on Periscope, called Ladywing Crafts and Chats. So because it is going to be late at night, we don't want creepers coming into the room, and therefore, like, you know, please come over and follow me at Ladywing Designs if you would like to. But I probably won't be doing like any other, you know, like knitting random periscoping thing other than that. So if you would like to do the craft and chat, please PM me on Ravelry or Instagram with your Periscope username, or you can comment on that post that I did on Instagram about it. But comment your Periscope name or send it to me somehow so that I can add you to the group, because it is a closed group. yeah, just so that we don't have creepies since it will be a little later at night. I think that's all that I wanted to say about it. Again, I'm hoping to start that basically tomorrow. So by the time that you guys see this, it will be early Saturday or maybe even Saturday night if you don't watch until then. But like I said, I'll post about it again. And if no one has given me their name and wants to chat, then we just won't do it tomorrow night, which is fine. And like I said, if no one is interested in that, perfectly fine. Sorry for the earthquake, but I just figured that that would be a little easier. Yeah, I wanted to do something a little less formal than like going live on YouTube every week, because it won't really be like podcast episodes. And so like I'm not really going to be showing off things. It's going to be more of just like chill and chat and enjoy some people from the community. So that's that. So the last thing, this is not really admin, but I was watching some podcast and now I can't remember. Um, yeah, I don't remember who it was now. Probably not gonna remember. But they were talking about an Etsy shop, and then it was some podcast with more than one person though, and one of them was like, oh, well, if you want to take the time to try to figure it out on Etsy's search engine to find their shop or blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if everyone knows about this trick or not, so I just figured that it would be a nice thing to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera around, or my orientation. So I am on, okay, I'm going to see if I can show you guys this. Okay, so when you are searching a shop on Etsy, there's a very easy way to do this, and I don't even remember how I figured it out. I think I just did it one day and somehow stumbled upon it. But, so if you know, like, the shop name, oh, and I was supposed to do research before this, I don't remember. But anyway, so if you know, like, the shop name on Etsy, all you have to do is go on to Etsy and type it in the search box, right? So here's Etsy. So let's say that I'm looking for Lavender Loon. So her shop name on Etsy is Lavender Loon Yarn Co., right? So you're going to click in the search box. Give me 1 second. And type the person's shop name. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. Okay, so you can see that I have just typed Lavender Loon Yarn Co. No spaces. Hopefully you guys can see that I'm trying to like maneuver around my phone. But anyway, so you type it in, no spaces, and then hit search. And look at that. It pops up right on the shop. And you can, so this is the shop name that I'm talking about right here. Lavender Loon Yarn Co. And you don't have to do the capital letters. You just have to type it in like this. It doesn't have, the letters don't have to be capitalized, I mean. But you just have to type it in with no spaces. So who's another one? So like if I wanted to get to Bay Street Yarns, again, you're going to tap in the search box, and I'll show you guys another one too. And you can see that I've just typed Bay Street Yarns with no spaces, and again, you don't have to capitalize the letters. And look at that. Now we're on Bay Street Yarns on that webpage. So that is a really good trick. Now, like I said, you have to know what their shop name is up there. So, like, what's her? McMullen or McMillan? Oh, I can't remember now. But Fiber Co. McMillan Fiber Co.? I don't know. Can't remember. But anyway, so that is not actually, that's the name of her company, of her dyeing business, but that's not actually the name of her Etsy shop. So her Etsy shop is just named Knit. Like, she must have been one of the first ones or something. I don't know how she got that. But when I discovered that, I was like, wow. So when you would go up here, and if you know that's the name of her Etsy shop, you just type knit. Okay, that didn't work simply because you're typing in knit on Etsy, but anyway, I was using that example to say that some people, they will call their their shop one thing, but their like their Etsy shop, their shop name on Etsy might not be that, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to find one right now because I know that because I know that she has a different name on hers. But anyway, this is why I was supposed to do research, because I don't remember what her Etsy shop name is up there. But anyway, so that's that. I just wanted to show you guys that because I feel like a lot of people probably don't know about that. So yeah, spread the word around. That is a good piece of information to know, because that's what I use, and I showed it to my mom, and she was like, wow, that's amazing. Everyone always complains about how difficult it is to find shops on Etsy. There you go. Just know the shop name, and if there's someone that you order from all the time, you know, it's really easy. But yeah, so there's that. I hope that helps you guys, because that really makes it a lot easier to search. If you're just wanting to get to somebody's shop, that makes it so much easier. So that is all for admin. That was a 30-minute admin section, but not my fault. Yeah, you can see, I'll just show you guys this. So this, everything under this line right here, all of this was like things to remember for this episode. So much, because it's been 2 weeks and things just kept happening. So, yeah, I finally went back and just wrote out show notes, because I was like, I can't read that. So anyway, okay, so that's all for admin. So, as our segment, or that's what I wanted. Segment? English is difficult. But anyway, segue. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to say. As our segue into the knitting, or the crafting for this week. No, it's all knitting. I am showing off today. And this, if you guys will remember, is, excuse me, is my Spindrift shawl, which is a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And I'll just show you this. Yeah, so I made this. This was the last project that I did for 2017, I think. This was the last finished object, I think, for 2017. Yeah, so this yarn, I'll tell you the yarn first, is this it? I have a bunch of like minis and leftovers sitting down here from my blankets. It's a mess. Yeah, this is it. So this is, you're not going to be able to see it that well because it's just blowing out, but this is Lavender Loon Yarn Co. in her Hearthside colorway, and I got this, oh there you go, you can see kind of the speckles of different colors. And I got this was the full skein that she included in her holiday mini kit, and she does actually sell Hearthside in her shop, so you can get a skein of it if you just want it. And I think I'm gonna buy another skein, guys. Oh my gosh, I love this. I really want to use this in a brioche project, which I think I said. But anyway, I think I told you guys that way back when. But anyway, so this has been done since December. And I just now got around to blocking it. It was supposed to be in detention for February, which is Harry Potter thing again. It was supposed to be my detention turn-in, but I was so tired on the 28th that it was done blocking, and I just needed my boyfriend to like take a picture of me holding it, and fell asleep and forgot. And when I woke up, it was March. So it's okay. That's a missed 10 points, but whatever. So Yeah, so here it is. It's finished, and you can see just the beautiful speckles of color that are all throughout. It's like a, I don't know. It's not really a creamy type color. It's kind of like a parchment paper color, maybe, but it's really pretty. It's a wonderful neutral, and I love it. And this pattern was so much fun to work at the time, and I'm still finding this to be true now. Um, I kind of miss doing just stockinette flat. It's just something about having to turn around and purl across these rows was just awesome. I really needed that when I was working on this. So, that was really great. I'm so in love with this, if you can't tell. I'm still just like holding it up and admiring it. Um, but yeah, I think I used a US size 3, which is 3.25 millimeter, and yeah, I did exactly what the pattern said. I was thinking about adding more stockinette to it, and I think that I'm definitely gonna make this again, and I think that the next time I will add more stockinette to it, because this is how much I have left over. And I've already put a square of this into my big blanket, so really there's like 8 grams missing from this. So I had a good bit left over. I totally could have just added some rows if I'd wanted to. So I wish that I like had weighed when I finished the stockinette section in this so that I could know how much yarn I had left over. I don't know. Well, also so that I could figure out how much yarn this lace and the bind off took. Like how many grams, that would be super helpful. So that I don't add too much stockinette. But anyway, I'll worry about that in the second one. But yeah, so it has this beautiful open edging, which I love. And I love this lace. So I wasn't going to do the picot bind off at first. I was actually thinking about just doing an I-cord, and then I was just like, I've only ever done a picot bind off like once, and I can't even remember. Never mind, I remember what it was on. It's over there. It still hasn't been blocked. Um, but I was like, I've only done it once. Let's just do it again. And if I hate it, I just hate it. Oh well. I love this. So when I blocked this out, I took all of my pins and I blocked out along the top and made like the crescent shape that I wanted. And then I took a pin and blocked out every single one of these picots, basically. There are a couple that didn't get blocked out as well or at all, but yeah, it looks fine. But yeah, I literally took a pin and pulled out the picot and like pinned it down. So that is why the picots look super long. They are not like large picots. It's only like, I think you only cast on 2 stitches and then you start the cast off. If you've worked a picot bind off, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, so that's why the picots look huge, because I specifically blocked them out to look like that. And I must say I love this. I did not realize that I was going to love it this much. But I do. I love it so much, and I think part of it is because of the colorway. Um, but yeah, so anyway, I wanted to show you guys this. Because I'm in love with this, and it blocked out so beautifully with the lace and everything. So this is definitely going to be a repeat knit for me, at least once. But yeah, I love this because it's just a nice neutral that I can have, and it's super light because it's just stockinette, and like it's kind of airy now that it's been blocked. And then with the lace, and it's going to be something that I can totally wear in the spring and the summer here in Alabama, which is really important. You have to have knits that you can wear in the summer and the spring, aka the heat, if you want to be a knitter down south. So yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that. So now that I've wasted another 10 minutes on that, let's show you what I've been working on. Okay, so finished objects. They are both, sorry guys, they are both socks this week. I did this pair first. So, I just felt like casting on blueberry waffle socks, so I did. They weren't supposed to be this short. I'll tell you that story in a second. So, anyway, so here, and you can see there are two of them. So this is the sock. It's the blueberry waffle pattern by Sandy Turner. Yeah, and I did a heel flap and gusset. And there's the pattern from the front. I love it. I love this pattern. So where to start? So many things happened. Okay, so I can't talk about that yet because it's not an FO. Okay, let's just say this. Because of the pumpkin socks, you guys remember those? I don't know where they are. But anyway, so the pumpkin socks, the second one was really tight. It, like, as in, I basically struggled to get that sucker on my foot to take a picture in it. I don't know if it was because I was just stressed and knitting that one and trying to really get it done, or if it was because of the first sock and, like, my tension just tightened by 2 stitches per inch. I used to knit at 8 stitches per inch, and when I started a project that I'll show you over here in a second, I was getting 10 stitches per inch, which is insane. So I tried to remedy that by going up a needle size, and I actually did it on the thing that I will show you in a second. So it's another pair of socks. But anyway, so I usually use a US 000, which is a 1.5 millimeter. That's what I was using. So I had to go back up to the first sock needle that I was using, which is not much better, a 00, which is 1.75 millimeters. And so that put me at 9 stitches per inch. So now instead of doing 56 stitches, I do 60. Which, looking at some of the patterns that I've had and like that I have saved on my laptop, 60 is apparently one of those in-between sizes that is usually not in sock patterns, so that's a little bit frustrating, but whatever. So yeah, so anyway, all that to say, these are knit on 1.75 millimeter needles, which is a US 00, which is a change from what I usually do. 60 stitches. Of course, I knit these toe up with a heel flap and gusset. And like I said, these were supposed to be longer. I don't remember which one the first sock is. It's this one. So on the first sock, I finished the heel. Everything was going great. Got up to the leg, and then me and Melissa were talking one night, and I was just super tired. And I think it's right around here. You can kind of see there's supposed to be like lines in between to make little boxes, and you can kind of see there's a line here, and then there's no line for a really long time because I forgot to do just the plain knit rows. I was just so into the 2x2 rib, and I forgot to go back, and so then I did it up here, and then I forgot again, and I was just like, you know what, never mind, I'm done, I can't concentrate on these. So I just bound off. So they're a lot shorter than I wanted. And so then when I got to the second one, I was like, okay, you know, I gotta duplicate that. And, well, it all started off wrong because in the foot I did 2 less rows. I think my gauge like loosened up just a little bit or something, and so the row gauge was off by 1. So I recalculated, and I was like, okay, fine, I need to knit to this much. And yeah, these socks don't match because I knit 2 less rows in the foot, and then I did the heel the same, and then I did not count how many pattern repeats, like nothing. I just didn't care. I was like, I'll just work it out for the second sock. Well, I tried to match kind of what I did up here and just match them in length, and you can see it's just really super janky. didn't work out. So they're actually not even the same length in the leg, and I just don't even care. Yeah, when these socks were done, I was like, thank goodness they're done. And I was kind of upset about that because I really have wanted this pair of socks for forever. Oh well. I was just done by the time that lots of things happened during the sock, and I was already frustrated anyway because I was like, I really hope 60 stitches works, and I was finally getting into a groove with my sock recipe, and then it changed, and so yeah, I was already really frustrated. But anyway, so here's the yarn that I used. This is blueberry crumb cake from the Woolen Homestead. And yeah, ever since I bought this, you can see how much I have left because I basically did shorties. Like, this is insane. So ever since I bought this colorway, I knew that I needed to do a pair of blueberry waffle socks. Because blueberry crumb cake and blueberry waffles. Yeah, that is 52 grams left over. Yeah, that's insane. So I only used half skein, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm kind of thinking about making my mom some shorties, because this colorway just really reminds me of denim. And yeah, I think she would like that. So I might make her a pair of socks. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that was my first FO. Just, yeah, insane. They don't match, and I really don't care. That's the funniest part about all of that, is that I really just don't care that they don't match. So, Melissa, whenever you watch this and you catch up, yeah, this is the project. This is the mystery socks that I want to tell you about. So, to clue the rest of you in, I started a project. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I was on Instagram, and that way Melissa kind of understands where this came from too, because she only knows that they're socks. Okay, so I was on Instagram, and I saw Tiffany of the Woolen Homestead. She posted her progress on her "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" socks, which is a pattern by Danny of the Little Bobbins podcast. And so she was just talking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I still kind of want to make these socks, because Melissa and I had already picked out the yarn and the pattern that we were both going to do for our Christmas Eve cast on. So, and I had my Advent socks that I was casting on too, so I was like, I don't really want to add a third. And I had the yarn, but I didn't know that I wanted to use that yarn. So anyway, I saw Tiffany's post, and then I commented, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I still have to make a pair of these. Like, it's just so pretty. It's such a pretty pattern. And she said, she commented something, and then I was like, yeah, somehow right after that post, I went into my stash, and I did. I went to my stash, and I was just looking, and I was like, oh my god, this one. That's it. I want it. This is gonna happen. So I made it happen. Within, I think it took me 3 days, maybe. No, that's a lie. It took me 4 days. But anyway, so let me move my scale back under the coffee table. Anyway, so I did the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" socks. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, but isn't that a cuff down pattern? Yes, it is. But isn't that a heel flap and gusset? Yeah, it is. I did it, guys. I did a cuff down, heel flap, and gusset, and I will not be doing it often. So when I originally looked at the pattern, I did not know that I was going to do that, but I was looking at pictures, or I think I was doing my general read through of the pattern like I usually do, and I was just kind of like, I'm just, at first I was like, I'm just going to do German short row heel, because that's kind of my default if I do cuff down. It either has to be German short row or afterthought, because I have never liked the way, I've watched a video before, and I've never really liked the way that cuff down, heel flap, and gussets are worked, just because you have to do the whole needle like change thingy so you can work around it a different way when you're doing the gusset decreases, and that is just super aggravating to me. And it's like, now that I've done it, like, and even when I watch the video, no, it's not difficult. I don't want to have to deal with that. I just want to be able to like keep zooming around and around and not have to worry about, oh, well, now I need to turn my needles and do all of this. And no, that was just, yeah, that, which is why I will not be doing this often. That was the part that I didn't like about cuff downhill flap and gussets. But I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. That way, at least if I'm like, I still do not like it after this, I can say I've tried it. I still do not like it after this. So these will not be happening at, like, often at all. At all. I say that, but there's another pattern that I think I'm about to start that has, anyway. But I did it, and I will pop in a picture here, because no picture, no proof, right? I took a picture after I finished the leg of the first sock and the heel, and so you can see that I really did knit them cuff down. Because if you've been watching previous episodes when I've talked about it, you'll know that I just take the chart, which this pattern didn't have a chart, but anyway, I usually just take the chart and will flip it so that it will look the exact same, but I can work it toe up. And I didn't do that on these guys. I really did knit them cuff down. So, yeah. So anyway, let's show you the socks now that we've gotten that out of the way. Oh, so to explain, I wasn't purposely trying to keep it from Melissa. I just, at first, I didn't want to, like, I didn't take pictures of it. The only person that I talked to about it was my best friend, but, like, I didn't explain about all of this. We were just talking about the pattern. But I didn't tell anyone what I was doing, just in case I started it, didn't like it. Like, I even had a lifeline in the first sock. Like, the last row that I did right before I started the heel, I put in a lifeline just in case I really didn't like it, and I was like, I can just rip back and do a German short row and move on, which almost happened, but I made myself push through because I was just like, it can't be this bad. So I was just like, I'm just gonna try, and I was like, even if I finished the heel and then I still hate it, the lifeline was still in there, so I was like, I can still rip back. But I didn't, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. I can finally say I've done this. It was just something that was kind of looming over me, the fact that I had never done it. So now I can say I've done it, and now I can move on, because I definitely do not like this technique very much. But anyway, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, but I was going to say, it went from me not telling people, but just in case I ended up ripping it out and not liking it, so that, I wouldn't have even mentioned it then, probably. But it turned from that into me just getting a good laugh out of Melissa trying to guess what I was doing, because it was really funny. Which is cruel, but, like, I don't care. She still likes me. So, anyway. So, these are the socks. Let me show you the socks. So, and these are stretched out because, as I do with most of my socks, as soon as I finish them, I put them on my feet and I wore them. So they're a little stretched out, but I made myself not wear them yesterday so that they would look kind of decent. So yeah, you can see I did do the twisted rib cuff, which was interesting. I've done a 1x1 rib on sock cuffs. That used to be what I did. But I've never actually done a twisted rib, and I like it. Especially with this pattern. But yeah, no, just in general, I really like it. So I might do this on some more socks. It would probably be cuff down that I did this on. I don't know if I would do this on toe up socks. But anyway, so yeah, so there's a little tree pattern you can see that's formed from the lace yarn overs, and then you get this little twisted rib section down the foot until you get to the toe. And I'll show you the other side, because this sock really is, it's basically just a plain, it's a plain vanilla sock besides the little stem trunk thing that you do for the whole foot, and the lace. Like literally other than those parts, the entire thing is just knit besides the heel. So this is a really good pair of socks to do if you want a little bit of interest, but you really want to zoom, because it's just mostly stockinette. So this is the yarn. That's what it looks like when it's just worked stockinette. And this is, where'd that tag go? This is one of the Harry Potter Mystery Club skeins that I got from Graceland Wool last Christmas. And so if you watch those episodes at the end of 2017, you have seen this before. So this is her everyday base, which is 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And this was the October colorway. You can see my handwriting right there. This was the October one that she gave us, and the name of it is Happy Birthday. Yeah, and I loved this when I saw it because you can kind of see the little specks of green that are over in there. They're more prominent in real life, but you know. Yeah, so, and like it has little pops of red and the orange and the brown, and it just made me think of Christmas, and then like the brown is kind of like the tree, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally perfect. So yeah, as soon as I looked at this yarn, I was like, this has to happen. This is the yarn for that. So yeah, I did that, and I'm super excited. Yeah, I love this so much. So that's happening, and I'll just mention this now because I didn't write it down and I'll forget if I wait until later, but the other sock pattern that I was talking about doing that has a heel flapping gusset, is a cuff down one, is the To Love and to Cherish pattern by, oh, what's her name? Is it Ellie Jones? Her first name is Ellie, I'm pretty sure, of the Craft House Magic podcast. I think her name is Ellie Jones. I could be wrong, but she put that pattern out last year, I think, and this year I can't remember what the name of the pattern is, but she did another pattern that has like lace hearts, and then under it is just like a V, and it's on both sides of the leg, and then the rest is just heel flap and gusset, and I think it's just a stockinette foot. So I think I'm going to do the To Love and to Cherish pattern though, because it's lace, but it has the infinity symbol. And yeah, I don't want like a very specific Valentine's-y pair of socks. So I don't really want to put hearts on the sock. But anyway, so for that one I'm planning to use the November color, or yeah, the November colorway that I got from this club. I can't remember the name of it, but whenever I start that, I'll show you guys. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, that was very long finished objects. I told you guys it was going to be a super long episode because we're already an hour in. Sorry. So, okay, so that was FOs. Yeah, that's what I've been working on, guys. Yeah. That's pretty much this literally was what I was working on, and I probably would have been done in less time, but Melissa and we got on the VKN on Tuesday, and so I couldn't work on them because I didn't want her to see them, and then we had our own personal VKN at some point, couldn't work on them because I didn't want her to see them, so yeah. So other projects got work on them because of that, but anyway, so, okay, so that's that. Oh, I wanted to show, this is the yarn in the cake. You can kind of see the speckles of color and everything. Yeah, so this is that Graceland wool in the cake. I did want to show that. And you can see I still, now I worked the pattern exactly as it was written. So it is a longer leg, but it's not like too terribly long. So I still have a bit of yarn left over. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It won't really be too much though, because it's going to go in my blankets. Okay. So let's actually move on to works in progress. Okay. I don't even know what I want to talk about first. Oh, let's talk about this because I kept mentioning it. So remember I was talking about my socks and having to change them and everything, and this is the pattern where I really realized that I had to. So I worked this first sock and was super proud of myself. So this, I did toe up. You can already see what's wrong with this, right? The foot looks tiny, which should have been my hint, but it wasn't somehow. I was an idiot and I was like, it looks fine. I'm just imagining things because I haven't done heel flap and gusset in a while. No, I should have listened to myself. I should have measured gauge or something. This is the first sock. So this is, the yarn is right here. This is the Moonlight colorway from Lavender Loon Yarn Co. That I showed you guys in the last episode. So, oh my gosh, one, I love this colorway so much. But anyway, so I did these toe up. So this is this is the sock that made me realize that my gauge really had changed. So this one is worked on a 000, 56 stitches, toe up. And I'm doing the Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern by Kelly McClure. And anyway, so I did heel flap and gusset, did all of this, and then tried it on, and it was really difficult to get on. So then I took the time to kind of measure my gauge on it and everything, and that's when I realized that I was knitting 10 stitches per inch. That wasn't good. My gauge had tightened up enough to add 2 more stitches to the inch. So yeah. So then I recalculated my gauge and everything and started the second sock. So I went up a needle size to did I go up to 1.75? I think I did. I think I went up to 1.75 because I recalculated for the 1.5 millimeter, and I was going to have to do 72, at that gauge, I was going to have to do 72 stitches for my foot. No, no, I'm not doing that. So I went up to the 00, which is 1.75 millimeter, recalculated everything, and the pattern said I was supposed to do 64 stitches. So I cast on with 64 stitches. This is too big. So I just stopped where I was and I put in a lifeline or a stitch holder. I put in waste yarn as a stitch holder, and which it doesn't matter. This is gonna get ripped out. I just didn't want to deal with it at the time, so I just did this and I was like, I'll deal with it later. I'm gonna have to rip this out because 60 fits perfectly. So this is way too big. Which also means I really want this colorway and I want it in this pattern. So I'm going to rip back on this to where it's 60 stitches and then finish this sock out. And then I'm going to rip this out. I'm going to rip all the way out and I'm just going to completely start over. And this one, no, I remember what I said. I'm going to rip these completely out because then I can use them as a class for March. So kind of getting some benefits from this, but yeah. So I'm going to rip these completely out and just recast on with the toe. Just completely start over so that it feels like a new pair of socks to me, hopefully. Yeah, and I'm going to do these with 60 stitches, and I'm still going to do the Hermione's Everyday pattern. So, because I love it in this yarn, but yeah, this sock doesn't fit, and I think it's actually too short as well in the foot, so yeah, I'm just going to start this completely over, but I love this colorway so much that I don't want to waste it. Like, it needs to happen. Yeah, so, oh, and this little progress keeper is the one that I got in my Alice in Wonderland kit, and the progress keeper was by Little Bitty Delights. So yeah, so there's that. It's kind of sad, but I really love this yarn, and I just, like I said, I just don't want to waste it. So that's a whip, but right now it's just kind of languishing because I just haven't gotten back around to it yet. So hopefully you guys will see some progress on those soon so they don't languish too long. So the next work in progress that I will, what's in here? Oh, okay. Well, since we're on the topic of socks, can you guys tell I'm on a sock kick right now? Because I really am. So, in my Manacori Creations Harry Potter bag that I love so much, this basically is my sock sack, actually. This is pretty much it. That's what I use. Mostly because all of my other ones are holding minis for all of my blankets. Got to get on that. I want my sock bags back. Like, I have too many socks that I'm working on, and I need something to hold them in. Anyway, so, this is a pair of socks that I'm making out of Lolo did it in her plush sock base, which is, 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% tencel. So on her yarn bases page on her website, she tells you that this is basically a cheaper alternative for people that want the cashmere but can't afford the cashmere, because it's like $6 more, I think. Yeah, so I went with this because I was like, it doesn't have to have cashmere for me to be happy, you know. But I did want to try something different, and I'm liking it so far. So this is the Hippo for Mardi Gras colorway for this year. And I have barely started. Oh, so I'll show you the yarn first. This is the yarn. And as usual, there are pops of green that you can't really see, but all three colors are in there for Mardi Gras. The purple, the gold, and green, and there are little blips of like a darker orange, little red hints, and some pink bits over in there, all on her gray base. It's really pretty. So I've just barely, oh, I don't remember what pattern I'm doing. So I couldn't decide if I wanted these to be a 3x1 rib or blueberry waffle socks. So then I went on Ravelry and searched through my sock bundle and my favorites and found a totally different pattern to do. It's a textured pattern again. So anyway, this is how it's working up. You can see the green better in the actual sock when it's worked up. Good to know. At least on my camera, I mean. Like, you can see the green better here. So, yeah, that's literally all I've done. I've done the toe and then 2 rows after that on the foot. So I'm doing the Petty Harbor pattern, and I don't remember the designer. It'll be on the screen. But yeah, it's just a nice textured pattern. So that's what I'm doing. And the little stitch marker is one that Kalisha sent me from Quirky Monday Crafts. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've done. This is the first sock, and yeah. But it's a whip. It's technically a whip. But yeah, I've really been on a sock kick, and oh, so this is on the 1.75 millimeter on my Chowview Mini Twist needles. So yeah, that is the only that's the only 1.75 millimeter tips that I have right now, because I haven't ordered more from Amazon yet. But yeah, that's the only one I have right now, so I'm only able to work on one pair of socks at a time, which is super annoying because I'm on such a sock kick that I just want to cast on all the socks, and I can't. So anyway, that's that whip. I'm actually just going to toss it down here. So the next one that I'll mention, I technically haven't started yet, but it's going to be started probably while you guys are watching this tomorrow. So I've talked about this before. This has been the plan for this all along. So this is the first 2 skeins that's going to be wound up, and this is Hypnotic Yarn. She's on Etsy, and it's the Gingerbread Man colorway on her Treat Your Feet base, which is 80/20 superwash merino nylon. So there's that, and like I said, I haven't even started technically. I actually am going to have to do a gauge swatch. Yeah, so I actually need to wind one of these up and do a gauge swatch first. Like, I'm gonna have to block it and everything, like the whole shebang. Because the designer just seems to be getting a really tight gauge, or it just could, again, be that I'm just knitting super loosely and so it's not helping. I don't know. But anyway, so, yeah. So this is going to be the Notches cardigan. Again, I don't remember the designer, so it'll be on the screen. But so I went in and I have 4 skeins of this, and I paired them. So first I separated them based on, like, do they have a lot of speckles or not, maybe not as much, it looks like, and kind of like the intensity. You can see those are really dark. So I split them up like that, and then I paired them across the borders. So this is one of the kind of lighter skeins. This is one of the kind of darker skeins. So these two will start off, and because I'm going to alternate skeins. So yeah, trying to even that out. So yeah, I'm going to wind these up and start that this weekend, hopefully. Well, I say that, but I have to gauge swatch. So the swatch will be started this weekend. I'm not really sure when the project itself will be started, but we'll get there. Okay, so the next thing, yeah, that's not really a whip, but I was like, by the time they see this, it probably will be on my needles. So just wanted to show you guys. So the next project is my Tegna, which is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter of Boyline Knits. And this is where I am so far. So, you guys haven't seen this yet. No, you haven't seen this yet. Okay, so, yeah, so I started my Tegna. And I guess I'll show you the yarn first. Sorry, it's everywhere because I'm alternating skeins. So this is, In the Meantime by Lavender Loon Yarn Co. Of course, because God forbid I don't mention her like 1,000 times in this episode. I just love her yarn, what can I say? But anyway, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it's this really pretty neutral base with little pops of yellow, and yeah, it's beautiful, and like the speckles of the dark gray and black, and yeah, same thing in this skein. Hindsight might not have needed to alternate, but I did it just to be sure. Just, you know, better safe than sorry. But anyway, so I worked, so I'm knitting these on a 2.5 millimeter needle, which is a 1.5. Again, very loose gauge. So actually I based my gauge for this project off of another project. So I never actually did a gauge swatch. Anyway, that's what I generally do because I don't like gauge swatching. But yeah, so anyway, when I worked the lace, I worked it all in from one skein. I didn't alternate on that, which is why this one is so much smaller. And I only have these 2 skeins. But so the only modification that I've done in this so far is that I cut out 4 inches on the body because I want this to be more of a crop top. So for my size, you were supposed to work, after you finish the lace, you're supposed to work in stockinette in the round until the entire thing measures 14 inches. And I was like, but that's what I get for a regular sweater. And I don't want that. I wanted it to be a crop top. So I cut off 4 inches. I only knit until the whole thing measured about 10 inches. And then I stopped. And so now you can see my markers. Now I have actually divided for the armholes. You can kind of see there, like this one has more fabric. Because now I'm just working flat back and forth on, I think this is the back. This will turn into the back. So now I have to work this until this bit from the armhole measures like a little over 5 inches. So that is amazing right now because, again, like just working flat and having the like purl back across rows right now is just making me really happy, and I don't know why, but it is. I think I do so much in the round, especially because I'm on a sock kick, that I need this. Yeah, I totally look like a hobo today. This is one of my brother's old shirts that he gave me, and it's just huge on me. Younger brother, that is. That's all I have to say. He's really tall, so this looks normal on him. But, okay. So, the next project. Yeah, I want to talk about this one next, I think. Yeah, let's talk about this next. So, next, I started my second Cozy Memories blanket. I was supposed to wait until I finished the first, but that didn't happen. Actually, this wasn't supposed to become a full-fledged project yet. So, I ordered yarn from someone, which I'll show you in a minute, and she included a little 5-gram mini. And that is how much I really wanted this blanket to work off of, just like 5 grams for each square. And so I excuse me, so I took the mini. It's this one, this very first one. I took the mini and I weighed it first to make sure, and it was exactly 5 grams. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try out what I wanted to do, and if it doesn't work, you know, I can rip back and I'll like kind of rethink it and do something else. So I am still using the same needle size. I'm just using different, I'm not using my signatures on this one just because I have 2 blankets and I don't want those needles to keep going back and forth. So I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles, which is a US 2.5. No, it's a US 2. And yeah, so each square will only take 5 grams. I am doing the center double decrease like I did on the first blanket, and I am doing 47 stitches instead of the big blanket has 55, and this one I'm doing 47 stitches. So this I just want you guys to see this. This is the tail from when I first cast on, right? So I had a little bit of extra yarn there. When I finished, and actually I cut this. I actually cut this so it wasn't super long, but it was maybe around this long. Like, I was cutting it pretty close, but I just barely got done with 47 stitches. So I was like, alright, awesome, that works. So let's go with that. So yeah, you can see how tiny this square is. Like, look at, you know, and I have small hands. So, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited, guys, because I really like the smaller squares because I'll be able to fit more yarns in here now because it'll take less yarn. Because a lot of stuff I was like, oh, I can't put that in there because it's only like 5 grams or it's only 6 grams. You know, I need more than that for my blanket, but now I don't, and I'm super excited. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about this. So this is yarn from Wee Chickadee Wool Co. I don't know what colorway it is because I forgot to get on there and ask her. But it's one of her colorways. I can just tell from the way that it's dyed, but this is beautiful. And then I added in the gold from my Wonder Woman shawl, and right now I started adding in the red. I did a couple rows, and then I was like, nope, actually I don't want to work on this. So here's the rest of the red from that, and that's what's going in there right now. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, because this blanket is literally going to take me forever, because the squares are so tiny. But yeah, like I said, you know, I'll be able to fit more yarns in this blanket, and it'll be super special still, so I'm really excited. And I have lots of minis already to put in there, because like I said, I've been saving a bunch of scraps and leftovers and stuff down here on the bottom shelf of my coffee table. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and pop it in here if I remember. But yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that project got started, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I started a project yesterday. Sorry, I'm just drinking lemonade, guys. I don't know, something about the sugar. My body is like asking for sugar right now. So anyway, yeah. So I started this project yesterday. I've already memorized the repeats. That's all I have to say, which is a good thing. So Remember, and I've showed you guys this in Cravin It at some point beforehand, and I posted it on Instagram last night for Instant at Night, so a lot of you guys have probably already seen this. But remember when I talked about I really wanted to make the Le Moelleux, or the squishy, but I don't like saying the squishy. Never mind. Okay, that just sounds like something that like would be on like a kid's movie, like the squishy. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Anyway, so sidetracked. But anyway, Le Moelleux, which is the squishy shawl by Mina Phillips of Knitting Expat Designs and the Knitting Expat podcast. So these are the yarns that I'm using. Main color, contrast color. My tags are somewhere. So this main color, if you'll remember, is the full skein that I got in the Bay Street Yarns holiday kit in the Advent set that I got last year. So this is Bay Street Yarns, and this is her John Henry base, so 7525 in the Twinkle Lights colorway. And literally from the moment that I saw this, even when it was in the skein, in the hank, ever since I saw this colorway, I said, brioche. It needs to be the main color in brioche. Don't ask me where that came from. I really don't know. But when I saw it, I literally was like, it needs to be brioche. And I was like, I need a dark background color, and I immediately thought of this. Oh, so here's the Twinkle Lights colorway, and you'll be able to see the colors on it. You can see it well now, but you'll see how it works out in a second in the project. So I knew that it had to be a dark color, and as soon as I said that, I was like, oh my gosh, it needs to be Folsom from Lolo Did It. So, oh no, come back. Okay, runaway yarn. So this is Lolo Did It in her Everyday Sock Base, which is also 7525. And there we go. This is the Folsom colorway. And if you remember my Oracle shawl, this is the gray that I used in that shawl as well. Yeah, this skein seems like it's a lot darker than that first skein, and I'm loving that. Like, I love that so much. I'm really proud. I'm really happy that this one is mostly like darker overall, because it'll help really give this a pop. But anyway, so those are the yarns, and I literally just started this yesterday, guys. Like, I'm not kidding. Yesterday evening and like last night, because I stayed up really late, or later. So anyway, this is the shawl, and in the pattern she has there's a symmetrical version, and then Melissa didn't see this the first time because you have to like keep scrolling through. She doesn't really mention both of them, I don't think. Maybe she does in like the pattern notes or something, but the way that the pattern is written, you do the same setup for either one, and then right after that she has the pattern notes for like the regular triangular one, but then you have to keep scrolling, and like she goes through that whole pattern with the finishing and everything, and then she gives you the alternate way of working it for an asymmetrical, which is what I wanted, because so this is basically a mini version of what the shawl will look like when it's done. It's going to be longer, and it won't be as deep as the triangle shawl. It cuts the depth in half, actually, based on her measurements of the samples that are in the pattern. So that's what I wanted, because I prefer longer shawls so that I can really wrap them around. Plus, I've discovered I used to love working triangle shawls. I just love the way that they're constructed. But having like this giant V over my short torso is not attractive to me, so I don't really knit. Like, you'll notice that I knit a lot of more asymmetrical triangle and crescent shawls, because they're longer, they're not as big as far as depth, and I can wrap them easier, and I just think they look better on me. So I knew from the beginning when I was reading the pattern page and looking at pictures and stuff, I knew that I was going to do the asymmetrical version, which is great because I have to memorize 2 less rows Like the regular one is an 8-row repeat, and this one is a 6-row repeat, which is basically 12 rows because it's brioche flat, so you have to work each one twice. And I love this project so much, guys. Once I memorized the rows last night, I was zooming. Of course, there are some parts where I would mess up, but like I just tinked back and fixed them when I realized them, because I wasn't like rows away and realizing. It would be like right then. So I would just tink back and fix it. But yeah, I think I got through 16 repeats last night. Yeah, so once you get to this part, like you do the setup and then you start doing the repeat rows, and this is literally what you do until you're done and you're ready to bind off. So I'm loving that, because that means that I literally can just zoom, and this is so simple that I'm thinking that I might actually be able to take it places or like work on it during the VKN, because it's a really simple brioche pattern. Like if you're looking for a good introduction into brioche, this is a great pattern. There's one increase that you do on this side, and there's a decrease that happens. You can see the decrease there. But like they're super simple. And I actually already knew how to do the increase, but even the decrease is really simple. She has really good instructions for the abbreviations in the pattern. For the decrease, I didn't even need to look up a video. I literally just read what she said on the abbreviations, and it worked out fine. So yeah, I am loving this project, guys. Loving, loving, loving this project. Yeah, so like I said, I think I've done like 16 repeats, and I think she said in the pattern that the sample got to like 40 repeats and then bound off. So, so excited. And both of these skeins, I have started kind of weighing my skeins before I actually start using them. Both of these skeins had a little bit over 100 grams, so we'll see how much I get out of it. But I'm loving this project, and probably that's what I'm going to work on as soon as we're done here, because I'll have a little bit of time before I need to go to class. So yeah, that's that. That is all of the whips, actually. That's everything that I wanted to show for that. So yeah, I'm really, as you can see, hopefully you can see, I'm really enjoying my crafting lately. I'm on a sock kick, and I'm loving that. And I started this brioche project, and I'm loving it. Things are looking great right now. And there's actually another shawl, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's a brioche pattern. It's got more of like an actual pattern within the brioche, and I can't remember what it's called, but I really want to make it. Maybe I'll do that after I finish this one, because I'm really loving this brioche. But anyway, so I do have a couple things for Cravin It. Oh dear. Okay, I didn't grab something. 1 second. Okay, so, I just like paused the recording, and I've never done that before, so we'll see how that looks when I go to edit. Anyway, so sorry for the crinkling, because I'm not going to take these out of the bag. So, in the last episode of Cozy Up, they also announced that they will be doing the My Sister's Cowl, which is a playoff of the shawl that they did, but there will also be My Sister's Socks. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that, and Jamie, they were, well, I just specifically remember Jamie saying it, but basically, they were saying that you can, if you have, like, a set like this, you will be able to get the cowl and the socks out of one set. So I still had this set from when I ordered, because remember I ordered 2. I still had this set from Comfy Cozy Knits, who is in Canada. And, yeah. So I'm so excited about this. So whenever the cowl is released, I'm going to do that first, and then I will use the leftovers for the socks. So excited, guys, because I really didn't know what to do with this. I had recently actually asked Melissa for some 3-color ideas for what she thinks I should do with it. And then that happened. So now I know what I'm doing with it. So thanks, ladies. And there's that. And then I posted about this on Instagram. How he, was it last week? Earlier this week? I don't know. How he Locatelli released her latest shawl pattern, which is Washed Out. And these are the yarns that I'm going to use for it. So I still don't know necessarily which color will be ABC because I need to kind of look at the pattern, like a picture of the shawl, and kind of see how the colors play together, like what order they're kind of in. But anyway, so this is the order that I think I want to do them in, A, B, C. But no, I don't know. I can't remember what I said. No, I think that is what I said. So, anyway, so I posted about this on Instagram, and, yeah, so apparently for color B, you need at least 440. So I might have to just go down a couple extra needle sizes to get a tighter fabric, although I don't know, because wouldn't I technically need more yarn then? Well, no, it'll just be smaller. Never mind. Anyway, so I'm going to have to accommodate for that because none of these, and these two are actually 438 yards, and this one's only 400. So I'm just going to have to think about that before I start and maybe knit at a tighter gauge than she is so that I have enough yarn. Because these are the 3 that I want to use. Like, I'm not changing that. I don't know why, but these greens are really calling to me. I don't even wear a lot of green, but I want this so bad. So these first 2 are from the Woolen Homestead, who's also getting lots of mentions today. But I do love her yarn. And so I'll set this down. So this color is Professor Sprout. And it's just this beautiful bright green. And I love it. And then this one, also from the Woolen Homestead, is Earl Grey. And this one is this beautiful gray with these pops of green, and there are little bits of blue in here actually, and like a mustardy color, and it's beautiful. So that's that. And then the other yarn that I'm going to use is, of course, Lavender Loon Yarn Co. This is her 80/20 base, and this is the colorway Smashing Pears, which is a colorway that I've loved ever since I first saw it. This just called out to me, and I don't know why, but it did. So, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. On my screen, it looks like it's showing up more brown, but it's definitely more of a green color. So, I will pop a picture of the Instagram photo that I took up here because that showed the colors much better. Yeah. Now, the color that I'm getting on screen is a beautiful brown, but it's not what the yarn looks like. So I'll put that picture in because I think it shows it better on there. But yeah, so those are the only 2 things that I have for Cravin It. Yay, a section that only takes like 7 minutes because we're already at an hour and a half, guys. That's insane. But we're almost done. So, retail therapy. So the first thing that I'll mention that I bought is this needle. I have a 2.5 millimeter needle, but it's only like a 16-inch, and because I used it for my socket hat, which is what I based the gauge off of for this project. And so I just bought a 24-inch cable. It's Knitter's Pride Dreamz 2.5 millimeter. And yeah, I just got a longer cord basically so that I could work on that pattern. And then so another thing that I've posted about on Insta, I finally bought some wool wash so that I could wash all of my hand knits. I'm glad that I got the socks out of the way because they definitely needed to be done first, but now I still have to do all of the shawls. and my sweaters. Not excited, but it needs to be done. Especially because it's getting warmer here. Maybe we'll have another cold snap, but it's basically about to be spring for us. So it'll be nice to have them all washed and everything, and I can just fold them up and put them away. So, anyway, so I bought Eucalan in the lavender scent, and I love this. Right before I started podcasting, I was sniffing this because when I soaked it before I blocked it, I soaked it with Eucalan, and oh my gosh, it smells so good. It just smells so good, guys. But anyway, so yeah, that was another purchase. So now to the more yarny purchases, of which there are only two. There's not that many. So I think I was on Instagram. I can't remember if I saw this on her Instagram or if I was on Etsy and just happened to see it. But this is the yarn that I mentioned earlier that I bought. This is Wee Chickadee. Well, it still says Woolery, but they had the name changed to Wee Chickadee Wool Co. And this is a one-of-a-kind, and the name of it is Pollination, which, guys, is that not the perfect name for this colorway? Oh my goodness. Anyone that knows me knows that I had to get this because it's my favorite color. But seriously, it does have my favorite color over in here, like the dark, deep yellow, and you guys know I love their colorways because of the speckles. They're just beautiful. So, yeah. And it said those magic 4 letters, OOAK. And I was like, oh no, I can never get it again. Let's buy it now. So I got a skein, and this is literally just going to become socks. That is what I bought it for. I was like, that needs to be socks because it's only one skein and I have no idea what else to do with it. So it will be socks. Yeah, I don't know when I'll cast that on though, because this is probably just going to be a vanilla pair of socks, and I'm just not there yet. I'm kind of trying to go from pattern, vanilla, kind of, so that I don't get sick of pattern socks, but, yeah, so I got that. I'm super excited, and, she was the one that sent the, the little mini that I used in my, in the Cozy Memory blanket. That's the back side. So it's like this really pretty pink. So yeah, I need to ask her which colorway that is. But anyway, so yeah, I got that. That will be socks at some point. And the last thing that I bought, so on the Sock Yarn Swappers Ravelry group, which I've talked about before, every once in a while, she just builds up all these minis, and she does what she calls, as you can see on here, clear the containers. And this was round 2. And so she puts the prices up there, and you tell her what you want, and you get bags. So I just got 1 bag of the 20-yard minis, which is 5 grams. And I bought these specifically to use for the second Cozy Memories blanket. So now that I know that 5 grams definitely works, I'm going to start putting these in at some point. Along with all the minis that I have down here. And then, like, usually I have enough left in my cakes, you know, like this. Like, I can get a square for the big blanket, a square for the little blanket, and then still have a good bit left over, which might all end up going into my crochet blanket that hasn't been touched. But yeah, so I can start really working on that second blanket now. So yeah, that is everything. Yeah, that's everything. So like I said, thank you to all of you new viewers that have come over from Cozy Up. I appreciate it. People have been following me on Instagram and friending me on Ravelry, and yeah. Oh, so one thing that I did want to say about that. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, I'll get the notification that I have new followers. And what I basically do for knitting accounts on there, if I can tell from your name that you are a crafter or knitter or something of some sort, I usually will just hit follow. I won't even go to your profile. I'll just hit follow because I know you're a crafty person. But sometimes I necessarily can't tell, so I'll click on your account, and if it's public and you have pictures and like a good bit of them are of crafting and that type of thing, I will follow you, because I love seeing crafting on my Instagram. If your account is private and I can't really see what kind of posts you are doing, I probably will not follow you back. Yeah, which doesn't always matter to some people, but I just wanted to mention that. I'm the type of person, if you're crafty, because that's basically what I use my Instagram for now. Like, I have my college friends and my fraternity brothers on there and everything, and like people I went to high school with, but everyone pretty much just has to deal with the fact that it's a crafty, a crafty account now. But yeah, so if you're crafty and I can tell that, I will follow you back. And other people I just don't. But again, yeah. Anyway, I wanted to say that earlier and I forgot. But anyway, so other than that, thank you guys for watching. As always, remember, I'll definitely post about it on Instagram probably sometime after I post about this episode going up, because it'll probably go up in the wee hours of Saturday morning. But remember that I will hopefully be doing the craft and chat on Periscope tomorrow night, Saturday, March the 3rd at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, like I said, comment on the post that I made on Instagram with your Periscope username, or private message me on either Instagram or Ravelry, it doesn't matter, with your Periscope name, and I will add you to the group, so that when I go live, it'll tell you that the group has started. But like I said, if there isn't enough interest tomorrow or ever, then it won't happen. But I'll be sure to post and let you guys know that. So yeah, this is going to be a very long episode. So if you made it all the way, thanks guys. And I will hopefully see you soon. Have a crafty week, guys. Bye.